When I talk about why I have so many unfinished quilt projects, one of the main things I focus on as the reason is because I wanted to start a new project. I saw a new pattern or new fabric and just wanted to use it and make something. And that is honestly the truth. But another big factor that I don't honestly talk about enough is the cost that goes into finishing all the projects I have. Backing fabric and batting, binding, all of that adds up, right? And the large piece of fabric that goes on the back of a quilt can really add up if you have a lot of projects you want to finish. So today I'm going to show you how I'm going to get one of my quilt tops finished on a budget. So I have this fun quilt top here. It's actually a more recent finish, but I have this idea on how I want to quilt it. So I'm really excited to do that. So that's why, even though this isn't a really old unfinished quilt, it's still one that I really want to finish. This one was really fun to make and I can't wait to see it finish, honestly. I had no backing fabric picked out for it, no binding. It was just a quilt top that I wanted to make, and doesn't that happen a lot? So I have it here but didn't have a plan for how to finish it. So it would be often going to the quilt shop, looking online, getting some fabric for the back, feeling bad about having so much fabric and not using what I have and purchasing something else. So I decided to look around and see if I have something that I could use for this. So I found this fabric here. It was from a wide back and is a huge piece of fabric, but it's not wide enough for this quilt. It's just really long because it's a cutoff from another quilt that I quilted. But I measured it and it's long enough. If I cut it in half, I can piece it together for the back of this quilt. And it's a really nice fabric. It is thick. It almost feels like a light jean material. It is really fun. It has like sewing terms and everything all over it. So it'll work great on the back of this quilt. I was thinking when I was searching through all my cutoffs from quilting quilts that I would need to piece a few pieces together, but I was excited in that stack of fabric that I found this. So this will work perfect. And that's something I need to do more. I need to either sort all that out really well or something, because I have all this fabric that I could use to finish up things, either for backing or for binding, that I just completely forget about until I take the time to go through it and find things. For this fabric, I'm gonna cut it in half. And I'm just gonna sew the selvage piece together because I know this will be nice and straight. And so what I normally do is I will press this, cut the fabric in half, and I will sew along the selvage to get my seam, and then I'll trim the selvage off. But the selvage will help me keep everything straight and lined up. So this is going to be the back for my quilt. And then for batting, instead of going and buying some, because I do not have any bags of batting and I don't have a roll of batting right now, I used it all up. I have all these cut off pieces from quilting my quilts, and there is a ton of them. but they're honestly kind of big pieces. Normally I save these because I'm like, I'll use them for a small wall hanging or for a table topper or table runner, you know, all that sort of stuff. But how many of those am I gonna make? And I have a stack of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these together. And what I do when I do that for a bigger piece of batting for a quilt is I will straighten out one side of my batting and I will zigzag stitch it together with another piece of batting. I try to keep the same type of batting together. You don't want a really thick batting with a really thin, or trying to put cotton with polyester, any of that stuff. You want to keep the same type of batting together. At least I think that works best. And you'll want to use a thread that looks similar to the batting. So I'm going to try to get a cream or a white so it doesn't show through to my quilt. Now, I'll need to piece a few of these together. I try not to have too many seams for it, so I try to find, if I have a larger quilt, as many big pieces as I can, so that I'll maybe only have 1 or 2 seams. I feel like that works the best. Now, if you don't want to sew them together, because it can be kind of tricky holding them together and zigzagging it together, if you don't want to do that, there is a tape that you can buy. It's like an iron-on that you can put down the seam and press it on. I find that it has worked really well for me. I've used some before. I actually got some in one of my subscription boxes, which is the reason that I tried it. The only thing with that I struggled with is keeping the batting together really close so that I don't have like a little gap in it. So if you have any tips for that, let me know in the comments, because I would like to try it again. I just felt like doing the zigzag stitch made sure that the batting stayed nice and snug together, a little more for me than using the tape. Now for the binding, I went through my stash and I found a fabric that I think will work really well. I pulled it out and I was trying a few different fabrics with the quilts, and I really like this one, mainly because I really like striped bindings. But then when I was laying it out, I was kind of feeling a little like maybe it isn't the right way to go. So I'm going to show it to you. Let me know in the comments if I should use this for the binding on this quilt or not. So here's the fabric. I love greens and I love stripes for binding, so I really like this. And I think it pulls in some of the blues and the greens in this quilt. I don't know. I really like it. Let me know if you think this will work well for this quilt. I also thought of maybe going through my fat quarters and trying to pull out some blues, some purples, and some greens and do a scrappy binding on this quilt. So that's an option too. But yeah, let me know what you think. Should I go with this striped binding, or should I keep searching around and find something else? Now, like I said, I already have an idea for how I'm going to quilt this quilt. So if you would like to see that come together, be sure you're subscribed to my channel and turn on the notifications. I'm going to show that later in this month. I am really excited about how I'm going to quilt this. I've done the style before and I really love it. I think it's a lot of fun, and fun way to finish off a quilt, and it's in a way that I don't normally finish quilts because it takes a little more time, but sometimes it's fun to be excited about doing something in your craft that you don't do all the time. Now, if you want to see how I baste my quilts, I do already have a video posted for that method that I use. I think it's a lot easier than some of the basting methods that I've seen out there and that I've tried. So if you want to check that out, that video is up and I will link to it as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.